up, though, everybody? This is another episode of the Pop Culture 223 podcast. This is season 3, episode 4, Bear?
Yeah, believe so, yep.
Oh, yeah. Believe so. We'll figure it out.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, though.
But, hey, thanks for tuning in. Hey, today we got a good one. We got the Brooklyn Bounty Hunter on today. He's from Brooklyn, B.
Definitely from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the house, baby.
Without a doubt. Yo, but look, check this out. Affiliate today is FLP, Firearms Legal Protection. The slogan is, if you protect yourself, they will protect you. So, yeah. This my water.
I know, man. I'm trying to give you the promo with the,
I'm sorry. My bad.
Trying to be your lovely assistant Vander today, man. Come on now.
Hey, man. We got the real one on the ones and twos today, Lance.
Oh, yeah.
Dub in the house. My brother's here, so he can, he's doing the ones and twos so I can get into a little more fuckery, you know.
So the guest today is CJ, UDA. He owns Urban Defensive Solutions. He was got a little bit executive protection background. He's a USCCA instructor, and he's the Brooklyn Bounty Hunter from Brooklyn. Retired now, Bounty Hunter.
Well retired.
Well retired. I think he had to get up out of Brooklyn, so he shot to Detroit. I think he had to get, leave Brooklyn real quick. He had to shoot to Detroit. So we're gonna get into that. But before we get into that, please like and subscribe. So quick, so fast, you know what I'm saying? So we can get them subscriptions up, like the show, like the channel, share all the stuff we do, all the effery we do.
Yes, sir.
But CJ, introduce
tomfoolery.
The tomfoolery. So CJ, introduce yourself, man. A little background, where you from.
All right.
I said it a little bit, but go ahead.
Born and raised in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Spent most of my time there, but I also spent a lot of time here in Detroit. Was raised in Oak Park with my mom. Spent summers out here, so I'm well versed on Detroit life as well as Brooklyn life. I started I got into the firearm training about 25 years ago as an NRA instructor, and then I really got serious the last, I would say, 7 years as a USCCA instructor. I really been going serious with the instruction now. With everything been going on since the last administration that we had in the last 5 years of just day-to-day stress, guns have definitely picked up in our community. And my focus is to make sure that everybody knows their Second Amendment right and what they can and what they can't do in the urban environment.
There we go. That's how we live for it.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
So you was in executive protection. How long have you doing that?
Again, I started off at a young age of 21. I started off doing some bouncing. We talked about that earlier. I did some bouncing in New York under a guy named Peter Gation, who owned the Tunnel, Limelight, Club USA, and the Palladium.
What was that like, man?
In the 80s, well, that was in the 90s. That's when.
That's what I'm saying, like in that golden era.
The bad boy era started.
Did you see P. Diddy coming there with a shirt like looking like Prince?
You gonna say Diddy with
the shit that's going on now?
Let's get right to the Diddy
stuff
shit.
That's going on now with Diddy is not the stuff that I seen growing up in the tunnel. Because again, I was there when they did the release party for Bad Boys.
Okay.
Biggie Smalls release party and Mary J. Blige's release party.
Okay.
And that's when they were launching that whole thing.
So you've been through I'm up too high now, man. So you've been through like the Big Cap era.
Big Cap was the DJ at the Tunnel. Master Flex was the DJ at the Tunnel. So we had Mobb Deep was passing out CDs and flyers, just try to get recognition back then. And the Tunnel was like we talked about searching. In the Tunnel, you had to have your shoes in your hand. It could be dead winter, slush on the floor. You had to bring an extra pair of socks because you was accustomed to having your shoes in the hand before you walked in that door. They searched everything, bro. Oh, wow. Everything.
Damn.
I said his people was coming there with the little
the box cutters.
Yeah,
that was heavy in New York, but nobody got in the tunnel with none of that shit, bro.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. Nobody got into the tunnel with that.
But there had to be some shit going on.
I mean, we had 100 dudes inside and 50 dudes outside.
Damn.
That's what the tunnel. That's the type of security you had because
there
was no dress code, and it was cats from 19 on up. No dress code, and you was allowed to bring a certain amount of drugs in there if it was for personal use.
Damn.
Cats was on there high all day long.
Oh, wow.
So if security wasn't tight in New York, you would lose everything.
So you had 100 security indoors and
50 outside.
Wow.
50 outside, bro. You had to. You had to have the whole block.
Because the tunnel was big as hell, though, right?
The tunnel held like 4,000 people.
That's what I thought. That was like
it was a huge
club. Yeah.
So what's a situation you got that popped off up in there? that was like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, meaning like 1 being like extremely
I got a
violent.
story. I got stories about the tunnel, bro.
No, none of them involve throwing out ODB or nothing like that, does it?
No.
Make it so, me and Dub,
I got a story about I got a story about the Wu as well for the Source Awards, but the biggest thing I remember was I don't know if you guys remember this group. They were called the Young Black Teenagers, but they
Sounds familiar.
They was all white boys.
I think the dude that was at House Party 3.
Yes, that was one of the cats. That's the main cat I'm about to talk about. So
That's from Fats. You can't see him off the store. He's doing a little production. He's watching the camera
they
back
had the
there.
dreadlocks and all that shit.
Fat's a small time hip hop historian like the rest of us too, so he'll know.
Right.
How old are you, brother?
43.
Okay, yeah, I'm 51, so he know what I'm talking
he
about.
knows.
So
I watch more TV.
a guy came out to the front. I was actually searching people at that time. The guy came out and he had a box cutter cut from his ear to his chin. And every time he talked, that shit was just opening up.
Oh.
And I said to him, I said, yo, and the first thing he said to me is like, it was one of them young black teenagers. Now, I didn't really know that group at the time.
So you looking for young black
So
teenagers?
when he said that, I gave my man a look like, nigga, this whole club is full of young black teenagers. But then when he said, nah, they was white, you could see, it was like a heat-seeking missile. You knew exactly who these motherfuckers were. I don't know if I can cuss. Am I already cuss?
Well, you didn't already said a couple times.
All right. So
You keep it light, the S word. That's why I apologize for the F bomb.
yeah, my bag. I appreciate it. I'm sorry about that. So
Can't bring like CJ on anymore.
yeah, you got to tell me ahead of time, bro. You got to tell me ahead of time. So he had this box, this surgical cut right from chin to ear, dude. It was from ear to chin. And he's talking, and it's opening up. And when he said it was a young black teenager, we finally realized what it was. Now, the tunnel was known for, if you got into some shit at the tunnel, you probably wasn't going to walk out sane. It was going to go down. Number one, you had to check in your coat. That shit's on 27th and West Side Highway, so it's brick in the wintertime. If you get kicked out of the club in New York, you don't get your jacket till the club closed.
Damn.
It's 4 or 5 in the morning by the time the tunnel closed, so you outside. You know what I'm saying? With no coat on. They strip you down when you go to the tunnel. So when we realized who it was, we singled the guys out. And again, they got a pretty vicious beat. You know, you don't come out the tunnel doing stuff like that, but that's one of the times when stuff did get slipped in. It was a box cutter because those are so hard to come by. In New York, the box cutter is the choice of weapon.
Damn.
Because it's so small and versatile.
Easy to conceal.
Dog,
You can do something to somebody, they won't even realize you the one that did it. Because that cut is so precise.
box cutters and
If I
razors.
hit you, it's gonna take us. You ain't gonna realize what happened to it happen.
Right.
Dog, and that's the dog. But it ain't just that; it's a tool too out there because dog, we tell the story all the time about when we was doing hip hop stuff and going out to New I was telling people I was telling my boy Pipes yo, keep everything in the front and blah 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 the good stuff. I'm like, cause the pickpockets and the way they do. He was like, yeah. Now nothing happened with it. Now, ironically, somebody did take my camera. That's a whole other story. But I'm like, yeah, I done heard about that. People just slitting real quick the back pocket and catch the wallet when it drop out and stuff.
The bottom of the purses. Yeah, bro. But it's such a thing. If you ever got pulled over and stopped by the cops, it's an easy thing to justify why you have it. You know what I'm saying? You can say for work. I work at a grocery store. You can tell them, man, I work at a bodega or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just forgot it in my pocket. So it's a common thing that everybody seems to have. And like I said, in that experience of working at the tunnel, I've seen people have full-blown conversations and have an open razor in their mouth. Bro.
I don't understand that.
You know what I'm saying? You never know until they spit it out. You know what I'm saying? So when you went in the tunnel, you got checked, bro.
That's crazy.
You got to do gum searches in there.
Real. Like you see that shit in videos and shit. Being from here,
Tupac with the razor.
Yeah, just hearing that shit was real. That's wild as hell.
Man, listen, I would freak the fuck out. You
couldn't make me put a razor in my mouth, dog.
Listen, if a annihilator gets stuck on my tooth, I'm about to freak out.
Right.
You eat annihilator, boy, gets stuck. I'm like, oh,
that's
shit.
The art of survival, though, bro.
Yeah.
Art of survival.
Yeah.
But why was the tunnel like that, though? Just so many boroughs coming up in there?
Because it was in Manhattan. It's a neutral, New York was set in boroughs. Like, you got your Brooklyn, you got Queens, you got Harlem. Everybody got their clubs. But most Brooklyn cats don't go to Harlem to go to clubs. They don't go to Queens to go to clubbing. But Manhattan was one of them neutral zones. So everybody came to the tunnel. Plus, the tunnel was known if you was trying to get any type of hip-hop going, that's where you need to be on Sunday night. That's where Funk Master Flex is at. That's where Big Cap is. So if you try to promote any type of music,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you need to be at.
Hey man, how fine was Mary? Thick and fine was Mary.
I'm not gonna be on your side with that one, bro.
Oh, for real? That was just a question.
Nah, she wasn't one that turned my head, bro.
Okay. Which one then came in through there? He was like, "Good Lord have mercy." Yo, I keep that stick on me. Probably that many, huh?
See, man, that's,
The one
that's
person
put
that
in
gets
place.
me going would be Alicia Keys.
Ooh.
That's the one that
I can see
I
that.
can believe
See in
that.
that red?
That's the one that
You see
gets
her in that
me.
red?
Yeah.
I can
Jeez.
believe that.
I
Hey,
see
Usher
her
better
come
back
through
up,
there,
bro,
and that's
bro.
the one, bro.
I got to get at Usher for sure.
That's the one.
Yeah,
But, hey, man, let's get into some real serious stuff, bro. He got that Sig sucks and Springfield sucks. I'm an MVP guy. MVP forever.
Okay.
Hey, I got an MP shield.
Yeah, he a Smitty kind of guy.
Okay.
No, he got
He's
that
a Smitty
Zev
guy.
Sig, man. What's your favorite gun to carry?
My favorite gun on a day-to-day carry is probably that 509,
The FN?
the 509 tactical.
Yeah.
Man, I hear too them FNs are they kind of like CZs where like you love. I don't want to say you love them or you hate them, but it's definitely like a choice.
It's
You know what
definitely
I'm
a choice.
saying? Like
To me,
not
Sig
it
is a
ain't like
choice.
an everybody kind
Yeah,
of
and
thing.
it's not an
over here.
everybody gun.
I don't think I didn't really like about the Sig. The ones I had was, messing with like the Sig 365. Back in, like, I didn't like the trigger guard. They were wide. Like the one on yours is kind of wider. I like the Glocks or the M&Ps, how smaller they are, and then like the flatness of it. I didn't really
Yeah,
get
well,
into.
those guns are totally different in the
I
sense.
mean, the ergonomics of them are
yeah.
different. I just,
Mm-hmm.
so
See, the
when you
Glock-
first grab a gun, a firearm, you got it in your hand, it's like, oh, this feel good, and then
Right.
you go from, what I'm saying? I kind of go from there.
Like the Glocks feel good for a service pistol for me because the way they sit low.
Mm-hmm.
But I just outgrown them, dude.
Mm.
M&Ps too, bro.
How you outgrow something?
I outgrew them, bro.
You just upgrade. Hey, I outgrew something. I got me a staccato, but it wasn't. I'm still
Yeah, he
going
one
to
of
carry
them
my.
staccato boys, man.
I'm still carry my MMP. Let's tell us about that. Hey, shout out to Rustic Firearms, man. He was supposed to be on the show.
Mr. Double Tap over here.
He supposed to be on the show. He has some other things, some other obligations going on. So we're gonna get him on the show in April. Black-owned firearms company that makes rifles. So tell us a little about the AR. It's called a RA-15. right?
RA-15 is what he puts his stamp on it. Yeah. Like I said, when I first met him at the Guns of America event, and he supplied all the firearms. I think that's when I met you the first time.
That was the first time. Okay.
And he supplied all the ARs at the time. And when I was doing the table with this young lady, I was looking like, yo, these kind of some nice pieces. They wasn't like the type of guns that you would actually just loan out to people.
Mm-hmm.
But he had like 6 of them out there. They were all custom joints. And I got to playing with one of them. And then when I realized it was his, and it was a young black man, it was easy for me to make a decision to give him a shot. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see nobody in his age group that's even messing with that type of stuff. We don't really have a lot of people in his age group that's really promoting that Second Amendment thing. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen him doing that, it was easy for me, bro.
Well, he's doing it on all fronts, kind of like because he's a CPL instructor and he's a black-owned businessman, and he has selling firearms. He has a I want to say
He's a black-owned businessman in a white man's industry.
in the white man's industry,
Right.
but he has a 9mm now. I don't know if it's just testing and running, but I seen it. So he's kind of like Dion. You know what I'm saying? He just going
Rifle
in
or
there.
pistol?
He got all pistols.
No, I'm talking about the 9mm.
It's a pistol, handgun. Like
No, I'm sorry. We talking pistol or AR pistol?
So he has every style of rifle from.
Okay. So
And he about to drop. He said he's about to drop a
He got
308.
carbines and all that too.
So he make all rifle like every length, and he about to drop a 308. I think that's what
I
he
still
mentioned.
want a carbine, man.
But he has a 9mm handgun. Looks like a Glock.
handgun. Okay.
Look like a Glock, but I just like, man, Dion, just shake up the world. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm talking, I'm about to get my hands on one. Because you had a 14.5. You said you got
14.5, and then I had him because basically when that whole brace thing came out with the pistols, I basically told him, I said, listen, I want the smallest I can get without having to consider the pistol, so I can put all the dressings that I want on it. So he said, he came with the 14.5, and he welded the the muzzle on it, so it made it at that.
And that's why I bought my Daniel, that 14.5, because I was just like, all this break stuff is too much unsurety.
It's too
so
much.
I just let me get a rifle that I can run and take if I had to go out of town, shoot, whatever. I can go with it. But yeah, and that's why. But see, I met him. I didn't even know that was him when I was at the GOA event, and then the EDC guy had told me who he was, and I was like, oh, that's him. So me and him been on the phone, conversating, kicking it. So either I'm gonna go up there and holler at him, or he gonna come down here. But he did say he was gonna definitely do the show.
I think that's gonna be my next one too, is a 14.5. That's them Griffins I was showing you too. That's what I liked. It was the 14.5. My 16 is cool, but like you said, when we doing, it's cool when we out shooting and stuff. But I have noticed the length of it and being able to come up.
It changes the game.
It's a little more versus the short,
for sure.
Just them 2.5 inches or whatever, just enough to
But see, where he really sticks out is the custom paint jobs he putting on.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those premiums are custom. Like, I don't know if you've seen the one he did for me. It's like a green, but it's like a rustic type feel to it. It's like a used look. And that's the guns that he had out there that day. You know what I'm saying? So I fell in love with the way it looked.
Kind of distressed kind of look.
Yeah, like a distressed look. And then once I actually got to shoot it, I'm like, yo, you doing some good stuff, bro. The triggers on them are all nice. It's a single trigger. The one I got at least is a single stage trigger. I don't know if he's doing something new with it, because I see the new premieres that he's dropping are different than what I got.
Okay.
About a year
because he got the charging handles on them.
He got the new charging handles on
his name and stuff on them.
So I know some of this stuff, but I'm asking questions like this for audience purpose too. So is he using a proprietor type of trigger? So like, is he using like a Geisley or a Timney or something like that, or is this a trigger that he's developing himself?
So
that's a good question. I don't think he's developing that trigger, but that's something I would probably.
Something that like he's got certain parts. That he's
so from the rifle itself, from the upper to lower and the rail, and I want to say the barrel setup is his, besides like the barrel right now.
And the lower is his.
Yeah, like the upper to lower and all that. So when you wanna, you can kind of like tailor make it to.
So you're starting from there, and then
you say if you want the guys 2 stage, 3 stage, or whatever, you can have him. He'll put it in there.
Because
if you want a
surefire, you basically can build it.
Right.
Build it.
If you want the surefire muzzle brake, because you got like an RC can or something like that, you can put it on there. Like the premium ones come with his signature Rustic charging handle.
Gotcha.
So the premium ones are the only ones that come with it, and the other ones don't. But he go from pistol size 7-inch 8 to like he about to start doing the 308s. Like
he also has something. I don't know if he's actually dropped it yet, but I've seen him shooting it where it's an AR-15 platform, but it shoot.
The 7.62 round?
The 7.62 rounds with the AR, with the AK mags.
I seen it. I think there was maybe in the testing tuning stage of that.
I think that's going to be like that new. I mean, it's not new, but I think that's about to be that new hotness in the industry, because that's like the third time I've heard of somebody.
That's a new hybrid
coming out. Yeah, because a lot of people like the power behind AK, that 7.62.
But
it's because they're trying to blend that accuracy, and I know that's where 300 Blackout come from. They're trying to blend, but for real,
that 7.62 AK rounds are not. It's more for damage purposes than it is accuracy. I think the purist, what's the word? Purist people, if you get an AK, get an AK.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the people, you get an AK. When you switch it, try to put it on an AR platform, it's kind of like, he might just get a 308. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He might just get a 308 or whatever, keep it moving. But it is what it is. He changed the game for sure. But see, how long have you been a USCCA instructor?
I've been a USCCA instructor now going on 7 years.
Okay.
7 years, but I've been NRA for over 25.
So when you was in New York, were you able to carry a firearm?
No.
Did you try to get that? Or?
You could try. But you just don't. The only people that's allowed to carry firearms in the state of New York, if you're transporting like $10,000 to the bank, and that's the only time you can actually carry that firearm, or if you work in the Diamond District. They're giving them shits out like water for the Diamond District.
So you gotta have you
gotta be Jewish.
Because you're in the Diamond District. Because like we talked about this off air on the phone a couple of days ago, and like we were talking about that, and I was saying, it's wild because like New York Michigan is a shall issue, and New York is a can issue. And the thing about it, so it's like they have a CPL. You can get one. But you got to be like
the requirements.
Yeah, the requirements for it, dog. It's
never stops.
It's worse than California. And California is nuts when it comes to not trying to issue people guns.
I think California just flat out said no to certain people.
Oh yeah,
but New York, for example, it's like even the minor misdemeanors that you would have in the state of Michigan, that wouldn't fly in New York. If you applied, that would be the one thing that they would use. They basically will string you out so long that you forget about it.
Dang.
That's basically what they do. New York has definitely always been and that's the main reason why I left New York. I'm gonna be honest with you. I left New York for that reason because there's a lot of gun action out there. And like my father's 82 years old. He carries a little snub nose that I gave him. You know what I'm saying? But he's at the point where he's like, what they gonna do to me? But I would rather my father have it than not have it.
Right.
There's shit going on out there.
Oh, he's still in Brooklyn.
He live in Manhattan now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in Manhattan.
So when did you transfer from doing the doing the tunnel to like bounty hunter going after dumb jokers?
So most
Like,
of the
what
guys,
mind shift was that? Like, look, I'm tired of you bouncing jokers up. I'm about to go
catch
a joker that's sitting in the bed with his girlfriend in his drawers.
most of the guys that I started out the tunnel with was either retired police officers or police officers that were no longer on the force for whatever reason they had. And most of the, I don't know if you
said
back in the 90s in the Bronx, most of those officers had a lot of shit going on, a lot of stuff going on. They got bagged for a lot of stuff. So in their off time to make money, they started doing that bounty hunter work. So that's how I got into it, by working with these guys in security. And by being in security in the tunnel in those different places, one thing I learned was you have to be diplomatic. It's not always about the rah-rah, because even with that 50 outside and that 100 inside, you still could lose, bro.
Right. You still outnumbered.
You still outnumbered.
You said earlier, it's still 4,000 people.
You're talking out the
there,
90s and 80s when we wouldn't even let Wu-Tang come into most of the club because
that's why I asked earlier what was on
too much chaos, bro. They came with too much chaos.
It was probably too deep.
They was coming with too much chaos. So
Right.
they was banned from a lot of clubs from performing.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't even perform with the Wu in certain places because that's where the angel dust was heavy in them days, and it was wilding, bro.
They come 100 deep up in there.
100 deep.
You got to figure, man. It's technically
Everybody got mics.
Yeah, when ODB was alive and Capadonna wasn't in gym, man, it's like 10 dudes in Wu-Tang, and you figure each dude got like 5 dudes in the entourage, 10 dudes. Yeah, you talking like 20, 30, 100 dudes coming in there. You like, man,
I
wait
went
a minute.
to. They had the Source Awards at the tunnel. This was back in '98.
That's where it was. That's where that one was at.
They had the Source. The after party was there.
Okay.
As the after party.
Okay.
And me and my roommate Miguel, we were holding the door down. Now my roommate went to school with Raekwon. He went to high school, so he knew him personally. So in order to get to the Source Awards, you had to have the after party. You had to have an invite to the actual Source Awards. Only the main members, maybe 6 or 7 dudes, had passes from the Wu. So I remember when they came in. Now, if you've ever been to the tunnel, it's one door to get in and it's 5 steps to get up. There's a big metal door that they can shut at any time. You know what I'm saying? So me and Miguel, we at the front, we hold it down. We see the entourage roll up. They got caravans and they got Volkswagen bugs, the little bugs and shit. 15 of these motherfuckers, bro, with Wu-Tang symbols on it. You know what I'm saying? They pull up, parking right in the middle of the 27. No parking lot, they just parking, bro. So I automatically knew something was about to go down, bro. When Raekwon walked up to my roommate, they did their little greeting, and he said to him, "Hey, man, I got a couple parties. Can you get them in?" My man respectfully said, "This ain't that night. This is not even a night you could pay to get in. You got to have that pass." He looked my man in his face and says, "All right, they'll get in." And right when he said that, bro, imagine 30, 40 young niggas buzzing. Zzz, that's what they were doing, son. And I'm looking around. I'm like, yo, this not about to be good, bro. It's not
buzzing.
You hear what I'm saying, bro? They buzzing, bro. Bzzz.
Like literally,
like literally doing this. Bzzz. 30, 40 cats. Now again, there's one way to get into the tunnel. There's 2 big metal doors. They start bum rushing. They just start coming.
You talking about guys being like bzzz, like killer bees?
Yeah.
That's what they call themselves. Killer bees, bro. So they started buzzing. They start bum rushing the door.
Like they call signal and
right.
shit.
Half of them, got 50 dudes running into one door, and there's only 2. We standing out the way, bro. You know what I'm saying? We getting out the way because they just coming. I saw my roommate, all of a sudden, he's about 6'5", 300, 350. He a big dude. I see them drop like pancakes. They hit him with a box cutter. And they caught that arm and that blood started leaking. My man passed out immediately. When I seen that, I go to retreat to go inside. They didn't close the door. So I'm at the top of the steps. My man on the floor, I'm trying to kick, punch, get people up, trying to come in. He laying on the floor. They didn't close the door on my ass. That's the last time I fucked with the Wu-Tang, bro. I wouldn't even work a night.
Damn.
I wouldn't even work a night if they came out, bro. It wasn't worth it.
Damn.
It wasn't worth it.
Because it don't be Wu. It be all the.
It'd be the whole project. The whole Park Hill be down there, bro.
Yeah, man.
The whole Park Hill came with them every time they performed. If they had 20 dudes on the stage, they all had mics. So it was a horrible concept.
It's like half Park Hill, half Stapleton.
You ain't hearing nothing.
You got a few Long Island cats up in there.
Bro. It was off the chain, bro.
Damn.
So yeah, it was nice where you had to be diplomatic when it came to talking to certain people because you didn't know if he came in with 20 other dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody came to the tunnel dolo. They all came with their little crew. So if you kick one dude out, you had to worry about
Everybody else
section
circling.
of section of dudes ready to go.
Man,
you
we
know
can
what I'm
tell
saying?
them stories, man.
Yeah, so yeah, there was some times in the tunnel, man, where you had to set a precedence to let people know, like if you come here and they get out of hand, you will get jacked up. But for the most part, man, we was all running around and trying to be like, yo, chill out, son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you hear that, that was my thing. You had to have a good time, you know what I'm saying? Because you know what's gonna happen. You're going to be out in the cold. Your girl going to be in here. You ain't going to be able to fight it. We ain't getting no, you know what I'm saying? So I was always on that diplomatic thing, and that's what got me into the bounty hunter. Because a lot of these white guys that I was bouncing with didn't know how to communicate with the hood cats. They was coming in like cops. They had the cop mentality. I didn't have that mentality. I still had that hood mentality where I could go in there and I could diplomatically sit down with somebody and talk them down.
So tell us about the pizza box tell us about the pizza box scenario.
That was one of the things that I had to do to keep, because again, I was working with a lot of cops that in a normal setting probably wouldn't fuck with me. Right. You understand what I'm saying? But they were using me for a certain thing, but I had to make sure that I came home safe every day. So I had to be diplomatic. I had to be, sneaky with certain things. So in one instance, what I did was I reached out to the dudes. It was a dude I was looking for. It was on some petty shit.
We talking about bounty hunt, like you going after a fugitive.
Going after a fugitive. So
recover, yeah.
A lot of people think, and I used to like the term bounty hunter. We never used that term. Our term was fugitive recovery agents because it set a better stage with the people that you're dealing with. Because a lot of people know bounty hunters ain't got that authority like a cop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you use that term, or if you have it on your gear, you can get exposed. And if you ever see the situation where somebody fight like a security guard, they handle security guards a lot different than they handle with police officers. So I had to go in there with different ways of how to catch people. And that's why I came up with like the TV. Like I called the dude's mom and I was like, so-and-so won this TV. He filled out this shit, whatever he did, you know what I'm saying?
6 months
he
ago.
won this TV, but I need him to be present to sign. You know what I'm saying? And the TV is his. And I would go as far as having a whole full box, bro. TV, 72-inch TV, delivery crew with a U-Haul, the whole nine, bro. Like I was delivering multiple TVs.
Hey.
And I would say if I ran that scheme probably 10 times, I bagged at least 7 or 8 of those cats like that.
And in the truck was probably the rest of the team and sitting there waiting to pull my man.
We was like U-Haul trucks. And the thing is, a lot of the stuff we was picking up was really petty. So I can easily talk to it. Like in some cases, I can talk to a guy and say, listen, by me taking you here now, it's going to make your situation better. But if you prolong it, you taking something like this, like a seatbelt ticket that got out of hand, and now you making it where cats is looking for you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of those bonds, if it's under $100,000, it's simple shit. You know what I'm saying? The simple stuff you can talk. You can talk your way. So you need to have those diplomatic skills, and I learned that working at the tunnel, dealing with the hood cats, the white cats, the lawyer kids. When you go to a club in New York, you dealing with all type of people. You may be dealing with a cat that Upper East Side that holding on millions because his dad's a lawyer, but he want to be in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So you couldn't grab them up. You couldn't grab them up. You know what I'm saying? If you grab up one of those, you may lose a job.
Prime example of that, dog, the China Club. Yeah. I wasn't even into it like that. no more. And like I said, the time we went to New York, the China Club, man, it's like, how can you explain it? It's like 4 or 5 clubs in one.
That was the Limelight. The Limelight was like that. He had a club called the Limelight. It was an old church like the one in Detroit. There was, I think, 4 levels, and each level had its own different scenario. So when I say the Limelight it wasn't for the faint, bro. Like, you had from drag queens, you had every possible thing you could think of was coming through them doors, bro.
That's where Diddy was at.
And everybody's mixing.
I'm here all day, fellas.
Prime example. So picture St. Andrews in its heyday when they had all 3 floors, right? And you got the hip hop, you got the you got the showing up, hip hop in the basement. You got the mainstream top 40 stuff in the middle
40,
or whatever.
The rave kids up top.
And then on the top you got like the hip hop, the house and techno. But like the China Club and Limelight, we didn't go to Limelight, but I heard it's like that on steroids. It's like ridiculous. It's like 3 times the size of that. And it's steroids, like, you got like Latin stuff up here. Everything. You got hip hop here. You got jazz here. And then you like, dog, what the hell is this?
Limelight was a place where whatever you got going on, you could be whoever you want in the Limelight. When I say that, I would see dudes that would come straight from Wall Street in full-blown suits and leave out in full-blown dresses.
Damn.
They would come in with their duffel bags, bro. And they would leave out in dresses, bro. A lot of the performers that we had were dudes that would be dressed as women. New York is like that, bro. You got to be super careful in New York, man. But the thing about New York that made it interesting was, like I said, you have those boroughs. Those boroughs represent nationalities.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you got some Chinese cats coming in and they coming in there deep and they on that hood shit, they probably triads. They not coming in on a block shit. They coming in on a whole nation shit. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the Jamaicans when they coming in full blown, bro. Then you got the Latin Kings. So they coming in as a nation. So they don't have to be from Brooklyn. They can be from wherever. But when they come together, that's what you had to.
So it's a nation.
It's a nation you dealing with out there, bro. You dealing with nations, bro.
He ain't playing, dog.
So what about that one story you were telling me about when you was chasing the guy through the house? Because like as a bounty hunter and like some of the stuff I used to see on TV, especially Dog, the bounty hunter, they never really carry weapons like firearms. There was always like pepper spray and stuff like that.
Well, in certain states, like I said, New York and Jersey was one of them states where you can't. It's not accessible to have firearms. Now, if you was doing it here or in Texas, you could probably use that firearm with some training. Dog, for example, had a felony. That's why he couldn't carry. I don't know about how Hawaii is. That's where I think he was located.
I think Hawaii's kind of set up like California and New York, where it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, so maybe that's why he wasn't doing that.
But I guess so in that world, how was it like going after apprehending fugitives? Like how many teams did you have? Like how many people were with you? Because like the people you're going after don't care about the law in New York. They probably got pistols on them. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Right. So y'all going in there outgunned already. So just take us through some of that.
That's why you have to go in there with a mindset different than what you see at what a cop would do. You can't. You know what I'm saying? You have to play those trickery games. Like I was telling you, it's 99% boredom. It's 1% action.
Using them Jedi mind tricks, old Yoda dude over here.
Because you got to make sure, because you are outnumbered. So when you kick in the house, you got to make sure that when you kick that house in, that door in, that everybody is on white. Everybody. So if you go to that scene and you see this, my man got 10 of his boys in there, yeah, you're going to sit it out for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Wait till them lights go out. So we did most of our shit in the middle of the night, bro, when it came to kicking in doors. We caught you with your pants down. That's the only way we could do it. The only way you couldn't go it.
Like going through Harlem? Like where? Like what was it? What borough would you go to? Like, nah, not today.
Queens.
I can believe that. I can believe that.
The neighbor might pop off on you.
Who?
The neighbor may pop off on you in Queens, bro.
Real?
Yeah, and in Brooklyn too. You understand? You talk about the late 90s, the end of the 80s, which is the end of the crack era. There was cops that didn't come to Fort Greene, bro. Cops didn't come to Fort Greene. If you could get your ass to the projects, you were good, bro. There wasn't nobody coming in there.
That's like who else used to say that? MOP and tight was it Brownsville?
Brownsville was like that.
No, yeah, they
you couldn't go into those projects. You couldn't get the Farragut projects, Fort Greene, Marcy, East New York. You couldn't get into those projects as a cop, bro.
Yeah, no, they say.
Damn.
No.
So let me ask you, were
They say
those
get back to the
bounties?
hood, nigga, you good, dog.
So could you just say, man, you could walk into the police station in New York and grab warrants and grab bounties.
If you going through a bails company, you can go walk in.
So were those bounties more expensive? Like, look, we got to go into this hot area. This boy is more money.
Nah, I think most of the ones that the resources were tapped out as far as financing that particular pickup, and they just threw it to the back burner. You got to understand, New York has so much shit going on that they couldn't handle it, bro.
Well, how much a bounty pay out? Let's say
10% of the bond. So whatever the bond was, you get 10%.
So I remember you telling me about how you was chasing dude through the door, and something.
So in that situation, we was in Jersey, and it was a 2-family house, so it was a front door and a back door, and I was in pursuit chasing the dude basically through the kitchen, through the back door. And I had my man, he was coming through the back. I didn't see the gun in my man's hand because I was running behind. He was running from me. But when my man startled him, when he came out that back door, he put one in his chest. Now, I was so close behind him that I was just able to take him down the stairs. Like when I was coming with, I was just coming so fast behind him that before I could realize that he had put that shot out, I was already in motion on taking him down. So I took him down the stairs, and that's how that shit ended. But yeah, my man caught one in the chest with that. But we wore vests. We definitely wore vests.
Good, man.
Definitely wore vests.
Now, I got a question, man, and it's a would you rather or kind of, but or what's better, worse kind of. So what's better to do? You talking a bunch of fugitive recoveries? That's the smaller time was just the 10. Like we talking about with the numbers 10%. So let's say you talking, $100,000 bonds, $10,000 bonds, $20,000. The smaller ones. So you probably 100-200 boys. Are we talking the $100,000 bond, $200,000? Doing like one or two of those versus like a bunch of the smaller ones. What's best?
High percentage ones. You probably got to have a super name for yourself and some real good resources to get those. They're not going to give those to somebody. Like if my man's in Florida, you don't have the resources to go to Florida to get them. Because a lot of times you're going to spend a lot of your money in the process. You don't get paid in advance. So all that stakeout and all that lunch and all that gas and all, that's all you. That's all you.
So two-parted in on that. What can be more dangerous? The high value one or the low, some of the low values?
That's a good question. They were equally as dangerous because somebody don't want to go to jail. They don't want to go to jail.
Yeah,
right. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you had situations where it was something simple. Like you may get 6 months and be home.
Right.
Now you take it to a level where you definitely going in, you're going to spend some time. So that fear factor of somebody not seeing the day of light, what makes the average person do some crazy shit, even though it's some small, petty theft stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have got caught at Kmart stealing. You know what I'm saying? Which ain't going to put you behind bars for 15 years. But if you on the lam and you doing stuff to break laws in the process of staying on the lam, there it is. You know what I'm saying? So most of the cases for us to stay busy, we took the small cases. Because those are the ones we can probably get easily and get to the next case. The big ones, you had to put a lot of time and resources to.
So was it like a high-profile dude that y'all had to go get?
I was about to ask that too.
Oh.
Not anybody that would be, like, just say, like, famous or anything like that.
Yeah,
like that.
Not necessarily famous, but just
not
like
famous in the street.
Like,
They ain't gotta be famous out here in the R&B. I mean, the hip hop world, but just in the street world.
If they was, I didn't know about it. Like that profile, like if you probably was in my hood and I had to pick, I definitely didn't do nobody in my city. I stayed away from anything in Brooklyn, Manhattan. I basically stayed away from stuff like that. That was too close to home. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
But when it was Jersey, I didn't know too much about those cats and what they were doing.
Well, shit, like same question, different aspect, right? So if it wasn't somebody famous, what was like the highest one you had to do, and what did it take to get them? Like the highest bond.
The highest bond we probably made, it was a $200,000 bond. So it was a $20,000. We split between 4 or 5 of us. So the money was good when you catch that person. But that particular case, again, you talking about a lot of time and a lot of resources. We spent a lot of time on the streets, a lot of time at old addresses, new addresses, jobs, past jobs. So the time that was put into it, you had to be confident you was gonna catch somebody because this is all your money you was spending.
Mm-hmm.
Are those typically the longer time ones than the short ones, or do you have some short ones that can be long drawn
Even the
out
short
like
ones,
that too?
if a person has the thing is, if a person has family, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
harder to catch somebody if they got family. Now, if somebody is, but again, on the same token, if somebody doesn't have family, it's also hard to find that person.
Right,
There's
'cause
nobody
you
to
don't
really
know where they at. Yeah,
really to track down and stuff. So it was really a case by case type thing. And like I said, it's 99% boredom, and it was 1%
yeah.
action. But that 1% action was enough for you to make you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now that I'm 51, you couldn't talk me into doing that.
So when did you transition from that? When did you come up? Did you? Because did you try to do that also here, right? Because
When I first came here, that was my thing. Was I was going to try to do the whole bouncing thing out here and the fusion recovery, because that's what I did for like the last 5 years when I was in New York. So I really tried to focus on that, but it was the market was different here.
Mm.
The market was and maybe because of the gun laws here, because it was so easy to have a gun. And then also when I got here, there was a series of guys that was in that business that was putting out a bad name for people, doing a lot of shady stuff. Because you do have the ability. I mean, it's just like a cop. You have to. You can go left real quick. The fruit is hanging.
Say it's
You
a lot of
understand what I'm saying?
Alonzos out there, huh?
There's a lot of the fruit hanging, because I couldn't tell you how many places we went into where there was drugs and cash on the table. We were cracked in some houses, and they had shit that we could have took, and a lot of those guys did take.
I can believe it.
'Cause you're not.
You ain't gonna need these 20 bands real quick, my man.
There's no tracking us.
Right.
There's no tracking us. We're not identifying ourselves as a police officer.
Right.
So what we can do, because of the Constitution, we was able to kick in the door with no warrant. We didn't need no warrant to kick in the door. You know what I'm saying? Where a cop had to kick in, he had to have a full-blown warrant to technically kick. All we had to have is a suspicion that person was in there.
Right.
If we even thought that, so I couldn't tell you how many houses we kicked in just for the fuck of it, bro. Middle of the night, leaving your shit unhinged for you to pay for that.
My bad,
You know what
Rollo
I'm
ain't here.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, well, there was a lot of situations where we kicked in doors, and
You ever thought about doing PI work?
I did think about it. See, I'm gonna tell you what changed the game for me when I came to Michigan. I'm gonna tell you.
I thought about that too.
I tried to get into the security field, and I tried to get into the bouncing thing, and I realized what we were getting paid in New York as a bouncer. I knew people that made a living as a bouncer in New York. That's all they did. They were bringing home $600, $700, $800 a night. When I came here, they offered me to do that work for $100 a night.
Right.
I didn't see the value in that. You know what I'm saying? So
makes sense.
that's when I started. Let me get back into the fusion recovery, and I teamed up with A1's bail bonds out in Dearborn. I teamed up with them, and I started writing bonds.
I wonder if that's what Jones used to do.
Yeah.
But most of the guys in Michigan now that do that type of work, it's actually the bail bondsman that's doing it, because the liability now of what you do can come back on that bail bond. So the laws have changed a lot in that aspect, where you didn't need no qualifications to do that. None. Our badges that we had made, we had them shit printed up, bro.
But the bail bondsmen can still have a team though if they want to.
We had teams. It was
I'm talking about here. So like, look, we one of our brothers, he's the bail bondsman. So like, because that's what we were gonna do. Like we were talking about before, we was gonna do it as well.
Contract out.
Yeah, and just basically work as a team through him or with him. You know, for if he got somebody to pick up.
Yeah.
So, but they can still do that though.
You can still do that.
Okay.
You can still that, but you have to have that. That bail bondsman, you got to talk him into that. You know what I'm saying? And you got to show a lot of professionalism, because again, his name on the line.
Right.
If you do something crazy, and when I first got here, there was a string of cats that were doing it, that were robbing people. They were using it. That means to rob, and that's why it got really difficult here to do it. Plus, the element of the guns did change a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know the level of skill that you have, and you want to be on a team with me. And I don't know how you running that gun.
Right.
And nor do you know how I'm running my gun. You know what I'm saying? So a team is built. You know what I'm saying? You can't make a team overnight. You got to build that. You got to train together. You basically got to live together to be around guns with me like that, in that fashion. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, we had to be sneaky. That's how we did it.
So did you take that knowledge and bring it into the USC, like you being a firearms instructor today, in today's, because information or stuff you gathered from, them years doing bouncing, the bounty hunter, like you brought that over into being a CPL instructor?
Two separate things, because I'll be honest with you, like growing up in New York by not having the means to have a legal firearm like that wasn't really on my radar until I got here.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that when I got here that got on my radar. I was like, all right, I can stop carrying guns illegally and start, you know what I'm saying?
Start carrying them
like
legally,
these cats is
right.
actually carrying guns and they're doing it legally. That was foreign to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like these cats got CPLs. That was totally foreign for me coming from New York, because none of my boys that carried guns had no CPLs. I didn't have no CPL, and I've always carried a gun. You know what I'm saying? My father always carried a gun.
Well, but the mindset of it though, like just being, because you said teams, you said the mindset of going from 99% nothing going on to that 1% action. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of like how you could be chilling, all of a sudden I got to get active.
Right, and in that situation, I saw a lot of things that I said to myself, if we had guns on it, man, it probably would have been bad, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because even these guys that are police officers don't know what they're doing.
Oh man.
Well, but then some of
that.
But some of that you said you had to be trickery, like not trickery, but that's called de-escalation, right?
Right.
You know how to talk your way out of a situation opposed to go and get active.
So basically, when it came to take it to a professional level, when it came to the firearms, like I said, it was all back when the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
The first, Trump at that time was in.
And
a lot of at that point the country was busting at its seams in my eyes. That's how it was. So now I got the legal means to carry a firearm, and I'm not really getting into the training part of that part. Just I was legally able to train.
Mm-hmm.
My personality gears me to be the best at what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So when I started carrying, I took that shit serious. And I started training. Once I started training, I seen how I developed from a hood dude that shot to a dude that's on a professional level. I said to myself, we need to start teaching this to our community. Our community is 20 years behind when it comes to the Second Amendment. That these other guys, the dollars that they know, we didn't know that stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my purpose was to make sure that everybody around me was educated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to make sure that they protected themselves. Like, I don't know if you guys realize, they just dropped this 29th state as a constitutional carry.
South Carolina.
Some people agree with
South
that.
Carolina, yeah.
You basically are telling people they don't have to train.
And
that's insane.
It
goes against everything that they're talking about.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a, man, as you could probably tell in the inflection of my voice, that's a pain point for me as an instructor.
It has to be.
Because it's so many people, thank you, sir. It's so many people that's in the quote unquote the greater 2A community that's like, hey, constitutional, blah, blah, blah. We can just carry. It ain't just about, yes, you can carry your gun wherever you want to. That's cool. Do what you do. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, now you got 1,000 nuts out here that don't know how to carry, don't know how to shoot, don't know what they doing.
Right. Don't have the mentality.
Yeah, don't have the mentality.
When to use it, when not to use it.
Yeah, and because it's deeper than just pulling the trigger.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you just making it worse. You know what I'm saying? For starters, yeah, you taking money out the pocket, but it's just the whole aspect of everything. It's like, dog, you just making it worse.
You're making it worse.
So and that's another question we're gonna get into. But look, if you like what we talking about, please like and subscribe. So quick, so fast, like Snoop say.
Oh yeah,
so quick, so fast. And look, I make it easy for y'all. You can hit the button or you even scan the barcode. Look, check that out. Scan that barcode.
Click, click, pow.
Click, click, pow. I'm gonna put it up. I got a little QR code. You can scan it. Check it out. This is what we doing, Dre. You know. Check that out. Dre from the Authentic Podcast is on the show
Dre
in the building.
But look, we in here, Deuce Crew Production.
So look. I want you to go in there because I was looking at that we was talking about this a little bit too, the extreme risk protection order. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think about that? Like, the idea that somebody can take your firearms or something away from you and you not even knowing that they did it, right? Because that's kind of like they, Karen pop up like, hey, such, I seen him outside doing some unsafe stuff, I don't like it, and just get you all caught up.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a gun grab. That's exactly what it is. It's a basic gun grab. You know what I'm saying? So every one of us here got ex-girlfriends. We all got ops, bro. It could be the minor op, but we all got ops, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you've been on this planet for a long time, you're going to have somebody that don't agree with your views. the way that this law is set up, that I can have it's just a suspicion that I feel like you're a dangerous person with a firearm, and that's enough for me to have your guns removed.
Right.
Now, I can be bold-faced lying. It's a misdemeanor for me to bold-faced lie.
Right.
See, that's what I was trying to find out. Like, what is if I lie, like what they gonna slap me on my hand and say, oh, maybe next time.
It's a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor because at that point you have to report it to an officer of the law or an official, like in that official capacity. So in essence, you're lying to a police officer.
Right.
Just like when you get pulled over and you say, it ain't just, oh, I wasn't speeding. It's not that lie, but it's like, well, who are you? And you start telling them, other, things, and you start lying about the issue, and they find out that you was lying. That's another like you just said with dude on the run. You start lying to somebody, and you got away with it.
You compound it.
Yeah, that they found out that you lied to the cop about this. Well, that's another charge on your belt, and then another one here, then another one there. It's the same thing.
So yeah, again, you take that law they just passed, where it's that easy, because at that point, once you make that claim, there's no the investigation will be done after they receive your guns.
Yep.
So they're gonna come get your guns with no investigation, and you have to basically get an investigation to show why you're worthy of having those guns.
Right. So I was looking up some stuff like, the lack of opportunity for appeal. Like, you know what I'm saying? They may not even want to. It's not like they're gonna do it like the next day. You know what I'm saying? You have to show reasons why you need your guns back, and that may be, they could push that shit months and months, and they holding your firearm.
Yeah.
That's why that's all just like,
How
what?
many people you know that had a firearm confiscated that actually got it back?
2.
I have
maybe 2.
Right. Most of them don't get it back.
Yeah.
You can legally get it, but they'll string you out so long.
String it out, yeah.
You'll forget about it.
Well, I have not had anyone that it got it. Well, the most people that I know that got it had a situation and they got it back with like a couple. I want to say maybe a month, but it came back in that white box with them that red paperwork in it. But you know what I'm saying?
In the past, if you had a protective order, that would get your guns taken. But you would have to go to the court, and they would have to approve a protection order on that person, and they would come take your guns. But now it's just a speculation.
So what does that look like for us? Like, what does these red flags look like for people like us? You know what I'm saying?
Like the professional gun owners that post this stuff?
Yeah.
Don't look good, son.
I guess, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's like kind of
We got to stop telling everybody what we got.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, somebody can say, oh, that's an excessive amount of firearms that my man got. Why? You need to come get them, boy. And that's it. But again, it's a grab, because look at this. They put that out there, and on the same breath, they got this constitutional carry. It makes no sense, bro.
It's kind of like, they kind of catch you. It's a setup.
It's catch-22.
It's a setup, bro.
But for who, though?
Not for us.
Come on now, what you think?
You already know, bro. You already know who it's for.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The worst thing you can have is a black man that's armed. The second thing is a black man that's armed and trained, bro.
Right.
That's dangerous to them. That's dangerous to any culture, bro.
And then you add knowledgeable too?
Man, that's dangerous.
Well, I looked at that because I was like, because I seen something that went through. I want to say it was last year. It was the first time somebody got their firearms took. It was a gentleman. His girlfriend got his firearms took. I think it was last year, 2023. It popped up, and it was on Detroit Crime News or something. Like, that was the first one in Michigan that actually posted a guy getting his firearm took from a previous situation he had years ago.
Under this new law?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he had a situation years ago. I guess somebody called in and said, he may be a risk or da-da-da-da-da, and they came and got his stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what you're talking about. I think I seen that too.
I was just like, what?
Damn.
So, but
what makes it scary is that for you to think that, again.
But it's also the idea that so analogy, right? So if you drive motorcycles and you having a bad day or whatever, you tripping, you may be feeling like you do depressed. Your homies can call and get your motorcycle taken because something you may do in the future. It ain't something you did then or now. It's something like you may do later.
Right.
Like, dang.
Now they do have organizations, and I don't
know
know offhand what they are, but there is an organization where, let's say, if I feel like my man is going through some personal stuff and he got guns, they will come and basically volunteer. You give them your guns, and they will store your guns for you until you feel you can come back and get them. You
know what? I didn't post them on here. It's called Walker Talk America is the bridge between mental health and firearms. Yeah. They offer a service like that, and I don't know if it's actually here in Michigan yet. I need to reach out to him and see how that process even works. because I know they do offer something. They can actually they'll come get your guns and hold it until they feel like you are better.
Right.
But like I said, I don't know how they determine that. You know, what
I
I'm
think
saying?
you got a better chance of getting it back from them.
Right. And that's and that's
what I'm
if
saying?
you are going through something like somebody, an organization like that coming to get your guns is a lot better than the cops. Because I mean, if the cops coming to get your stuff, they probably coming deep. It's all kind of shotguns and rifles everywhere. Yeah, we don't want to have to go through that.
But I guess if I have an organization that's willing to come, what am I judging to say that you okay to give it back though? Like what am I?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How to
What's the criteria for
what's
that?
the criteria and what level? You know what I'm saying? My
Well, I think
checking your temperature. Oh, you still?
I think a person that's in that mindset where he would say, all right, listen, I got something personally going on where I'm personally saying I need to turn my gun. Most people ain't going to. If you have that courage to say to yourself, hey man, I got someone I need to get these guns away from me, I think you're responsible enough to be able to articulate why you need them back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You would think an org like that would have social workers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can actually talk to
they're
you.
doing it.
Like,
They're
okay,
doing
all
it.
right.
Yeah,
Well, you know, Walker talking
this our mental health guy too. So and that's what I was about to say. They would have to have like psychiatrists or at least social workers, somebody
Something
that
on
can
deck,
determine that
It'd be better than the cops.
this is where he's at. He's progressed.
I'm
he's
gonna email him and see is it in Michigan or how we get into Michigan, because you can go on Walker Talk America and fill out a survey to see where your level is at, like free, like you don't have to put your name on another. And if you rate at a certain level, they shoot you to some more resources, some people that you can talk to get a better understanding of what you need. So they do have resources. I was just like, man, look. That kind of scared me, but I'm glad everybody in my house is we all love, right? So, so, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like you said, like showing stuff on IG, I ain't never think about that. Like I want to be, the next gun, gun guy showing my firearms, whatever. Like these young boys out here showing the Glocks with the twitches on them. That's they got the feds knocking on their door.
Right.
Like man, why even put that type of stuff? Like we from the air, everybody here from the air. Like, look, we ain't talking about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't showing
want you
that.
to know what I got at all.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. So I was just like, man, this.
Well, it also comes down to that. The major thing when it comes to how they're taking guns, it is a mental health issue with a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And this is what I try to explain to my students, just so they can get an idea of how the mind works. You take a guy that went to the military and he's seen people die. So he legitimately has a case called PTSD.
PTSD.
That's a legitimate thing to have. I know kids in the hood that seen bodies, bro.
Right.
They got
You
PTSD.
don't think they got that? But they're not addressing what this inner city is going through. But they seen the same thing
Right.
that this cat seen in Iraq. So when they lash out, it's because they black and they in the hood. Nah, bro, that's PTSD at its highest.
Right.
And they don't see it. So mental health issue.
And they didn't ask for it. And they didn't even ask for it,
bro.
I'm about to say, and it's higher because
it's at a younger age.
because it's people they know.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I'm
they see
saying?
that 8, 9, 10. At least you at the military, you got to be 18 to see that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got to see that in the hood.
That's
You
real.
know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for us to know exactly what our rights are with these guns, and we need responsible black gun owners out here, bro, showing the youth. That's the only way.
Yeah.
They've been showing their kids for a long time, bro.
Well, and that's another thing I always say. And even with so another thing on March 15th, I'm gonna say this, Lance, and be on your brother. If I can get my audio back sooner than later. I can put it out. They can see it. So I got a workshop. It's called Erica's Bidet Gun Workshop. It's gonna be at Uncoil. It's on March 15th. It's from 6 to 8. We teaching people how to talk to their kids about firearm safety and about safe gun storage because they
like that myself.
So they dropped that. They dropped that other, a law about the gun safety
Right,
bill.
with the safes and all that.
Yeah. I'm thinking, but like we all in here, like, we all got kids. I taught my kids that off rip. I got a safe. My Italian homeboy from Pittsburgh, like, look, if you bought a firearm, you had better have bought a safe right off rip. As soon as
but responsibility teaches responsibility.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
That's word.
You're not a responsible person, but yet you got a firearm. All you gonna teach is that ignorant. I mean, I grew up in the '80s, bro. So there was a time where I did some things, and there was a time where I sat my shit on the couch, bro, on the counter. You know what I'm saying? There was times that I did all that. You know what I'm saying? But as a responsible gun owner, I know the difference between staging and storing.
Right.
I staged now. My kids is grown, so I staged now. But when they were young, I stored, but I also had them shooting at a young age because I wanted them to know if they wasn't in my house and they went to somebody else's house and that kid pulled out a firearm, they need to know the difference.
Well, going back to what you said, like, and that's another thing too. Why the book was so important because I was like other kids, and they go hunting with their dad, but they got to go to that gun safety course before they go hunting. Then when they go hunting, they see what a round can do to flesh. That's something that's gonna stick with them for life.
It's an understanding.
It's an understanding. We don't get that until we go outside, we go up the block, and Ray sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's different. But like you said, that's, I didn't even mention that, but I'm glad that you put that out there like that because we need more responsible gun owners, and then we need more responsible gun owner instructors that teaching that in class, like and emphasizing that in class, not just breezing through it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm, even down to the name of my company, I made it strategic because the Urban Defense Solution, you have to be different in an urban environment. So I'm not.
Wait a minute, time out. What your boy say? Come on. What did he say?
Who?
Don't go to such and such a place because they not from Detroit.
Oh yeah, I know.
You gotta come train and be with me because I'm from Detroit. I know what it is to move around in the city.
Right.
I mean, and there's some truth to that. Like the way somebody's going to train that lives up north is going to be different than I'm going to train because I think in an urban environment you have to be more trained because you got to be more precise on where them rounds go.
Yeah, but that's that. But see, what he talking about? That's the overplay for the under though. That's the flashing lights for the. You know what I mean? While it is truth in the statement, but it's a ploy tactic to get you in. You know how the car commercials, man. Get this loaded out F-150 Lariat Super blah, blah, blah for $299 with just $5,000 down. And you go in there like, yeah, we ain't got none of those. But we can get you one of these over here, though, since you already in the dealership.
And I say this, and I got a coalition, a commission, right? The OGs, right? And I'm critical on us because we got to teach so much and know so much to teach, right? And I'm just like, if you ain't where I'm at or want to be where I be trying to get, then I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to hear what you trying to say. Because I know, like, you trying to get better. You trying to get better. So I know you going to get that to your students. If you ain't where I'm at, you can keep it moving. I ain't trying to hear what you trying to say.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you call me, hey, man, we going to go. Next time competition, I'm going. Same thing he did.
Right.
I'm going. So I know that y'all trying to see a different perspective of what y'all already know. So you trying to get better. And that is going to trickle down because y'all gun enthusiasts, y'all gun owners, families training, you going to put that to your students. So I know that's going to come back. Other people, like, look, you what? Where you be? Okay, come out here with me. Let's get down. Oh, you know.
It's definitely a passion. I'm not going to say that the addiction bug hasn't kicked in. That definitely has kicked in.
You know what? One thing, we about to close up. Talk about what happened and what you about to do in May. Or do you want to talk about that?
May.
You going to the tactical games.
Oh.
And it's because of what?
Okay. So,
man, I ain't in the shape for that.
I
want to go watch.
I'm not even going. Listen,
it looks sweet, but
I told bro, I said, look, I'm gonna get you a shirt. I'm gonna get you 2-3 shirts. I'm sponsored, but I ain't about to do this.
So, I've always been a person I've always been a solid dude, size wise. Never had no problems with nobody as far as that. You know what I'm saying? So, about 5-6 years ago, went to the gym, no pain, nothing. And I woke up that next day paralyzed from the waist down.
Damn.
Couldn't piss, couldn't do nothing, bro. And I had to actually stay in DMC for a whole 11 months.
Damn.
So I could come home to do 6 months of home therapy.
Damn.
So in that process, if you want to talk about a man's ego dropping and his pride just hitting the floor, I mean, I felt less than a man. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Right.
So right when that pandemic hit is when they cut off all my physical therapy. So I had to basically get my mind right to say, I got to do this myself. So I basically got myself in the best shape of my life in that process. So now I'm looking at these tactical games and I'm saying, you know what? I'm 51 years old and I think that's my last chance to really put that competition level in to that extent. And that's what I signed up for. I don't know how I'm going to do, but I'm definitely going to be up there. It's something that I've told myself I want to get myself in the best shape. And then I also said what the type of business that I'm trying to do, you know what I'm saying? I got to be able to show certain things, and I got to be ready to do it. So I tell people, lost my stomach because I wanted to carry appendix.
There you
It's
go.
that simple, bro.
There you go.
You got to have little things to motivate you, and I lost that stomach because I wanted to carry appendix. You know what I'm saying? And be efficient.
I'm gonna be as motivated as you one day, dog.
He carried at 3 o'clock, so you know he's not motivated. He had 4 o'clock. He like, he put it on his back. He said, "Shit."
Look, because that's why I wanted to lose to carry appendix, and I got an appendix rig, and actually before I gained a little bit, I actually was carrying appendix, but it's the driving factor. But yeah,
when you get humbled, I don't know if anybody at this table has been humbled at that level, but that was a humbling experience for me.
Exactly, man.
And with that humbling experience, I learned a lot of things about myself, bro. And I learned that sometimes you got to be smart and not always physical, because I've always been physical. My whole life, I've been a physical dude. Any problem I had, we got physical. We got active, bro. That's what it was. And then when I realized, and I'll tell you a funny story. There's a guy at my job, and he's probably 65, old white guy. And I was coming out the bed. Now, there was a point where I looked physically fine, but I had no fucking balance, bro. Like, my balance was totally off. That was the last thing that kicked in, was my balance. So we coming around the bathroom and just happened to meet at the same point, and it was just a little tap. That tap sent me flying across the room, bro.
Damn.
That affected my ego so bad, bro. That started the 7-day regimen, bro. That started the 7-day regimen. That one little incident, bro.
Hey, I walk up in the gym. He in there. He like, yeah, I go to LA Fitness sometimes. Sometimes I go to Planet Fitness. And, we talking, he's 51. I said, you know what? I'm slacking.
Right.
Well,
Hey, he in there getting it in. He like,
He hitting them.
he got the hood. He got the hood over his head. Wow. I'm like,
the funny thing about it, the only time I've ever had a conversation in the gym was with you.
Oh, really?
I'm an unsociable dude in the gym, bro.
Listen.
I got my hood up, my headphones on, and I'm not making no eye contact,
Listen,
bro.
let me tell you how gangster I was. Me and him in there talking. This was last week. He talking, I get on there. I start doing I did like 2 exercises, right? I said, you about to go? He said, yeah. I said, all right, let's go. I'm with him.
So you had just got there.
So what happened was,
Listen, man, I don't be caring because I get off so late. And then I get home like 8:30, and then, wife with the kids, it just be a lot, man.
I ringed in on him. I said, yo, if you go to the gym, I said, come holler at me. And he said, all right, about 7. So in my mind, I'm like, let me get there at 6, because I really don't like nobody messing up my shit. You know what I'm saying?
I
You
felt
get
like
your
that.
routine in before you get there.
So I said, let me get it at
Man,
6.
I walked right out with him like I ain't
And
did
then
shit.
I seen right when he sat down, I was pretty much done. So I walked up. We had about a 10-minute conversation. Then he was wrapping up, bro. He was wrapping up, son.
Hey, that sound like fats in the gym, dog.
Right.
Look, I did my shoulders, my thing. I'm like, hey, you about to go? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's keep talking. Boom, boom. We walked on out, walked to the car, kept it going.
But I've always lived my life in a sense where, if somebody's doing something to you and you don't like it, and you tell them not to do it, and you don't have the ability to stop that person from doing it, that's a suggestion, bro.
Right.
That's a pure suggestion, bro. So I think every man should have the ability to be ready, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
Especially in this day and age.
That's
You gotta
game.
be ready, bro. You gotta be ready. You know what I'm saying?
that's game. Hey, so we at what, 107?
Yeah.
Hour and 7?
108.
Hey, Lance, I like that. The bear been like, hey. You know what I'm saying? He'd have hit me like, time to go.
Because sometimes I don't want to be like, hey, KJ, look, we got 10 minutes, dog, wrap this. I ain't trying to,
You don't say that. You just be like, you give me the phone and you be
Yeah,
like,
it's
check this out.
quick
Like,
little
nah, Lance
thing.
on the
If
one
you
or two.
see in radio, that's how they do. They put a little sticky and put 10 on the
But somehow
thing, so
the
you
clock
know.
didn't come over here with us. I don't know where the clock
Yeah, I don't know
at.
where the clock at either, dog.
I don't know where the
It might
clock
be
at
one of
either.
these bags or something, man.
But
We all got iPhones. You shouldn't need.
I know I got it right there. I'm watching it.
Yeah. Now, we got a clock somewhere that literally count down
Oh,
up
okay.
whatever.
They try to be professional when I first got here. All the shit just
Yeah,
went
you
out
win
the
now,
window.
dog.
Right. So you family now. So
Right,
you done-
right.
All shit out the window. But all right, CJ, tell us where they can find you at, follow you at, all that good stuff, man.
So my company is Urban Defense Solutions. You can check me out at udsdetroit.com is my website. And then if you want to email me, udsdetroit@gmail.com. And then my Instagram page is udsdetroit.
All right, so listen, man, he's certified, bro. He been up here getting game, spitting game. So look, definitely go follow him. Definitely go check him out. Bear, you got anything coming up, Bear? Mind you, if you say it, you gotta give me the audio quick sooner than later.
I mean,
You got any classes coming up, Bear?
Man, the last time was your fault that we didn't get it out right away, man. And the time before that
It probably was
between both of us. But, I had nothing major coming up. I got some things going on that I got to kind of reassess. We're going to get together about some things, too. But the only thing I got coming up is practicing and trying to get it in for
you got some axe match. We post Axe April next month, the second week of the second Saturday of the month.
I do have a CPO class the 24th of March in Livonia.
24th of March in Livonia.
Nice.
All right, bet. So Bear, give me the audio sooner than later. I get it up there. Yo, but that's it from us. Look, gang recognize gang. We recognize you, so please recognize us. And we out.
Hey.